Good afternoon. It is the Remington R51 9mm pistol. It holds 7 in here. I'm going to do a +1 because, as we know, I want everything I can get. I'm going to put that safely over there while I add one more blazer. Because blazers are nice, they're cheap, they're easy to find, and they work. And so, I hope, does this pistol. Historically, they are not known for working. This one works. Let's see if it does. Nice. This one does work very well. This one has worked perfectly for me. But this has not been my first R51, and the other ones did not work. Let's talk about that a little bit and come back and shoot it a little bit more. It's the Remington R51 9mm pistol. Thank you, Remington. I think they first came out with these in 2013. There was a lot of fanfare. I first came across one at a used gun store not long after they were released, and that should have been a tip-off, but it was not. I didn't know anything about them. I loved the look of it. I loved how it felt in my hand, and it wasn't very expensive, and so I got it, and it did not work. And did a little research and discovered, oh, it didn't work because these don't work. The first generation was notorious for being awful, and it was a big brouhaha. A lot of fanfare when it came out, and they were terrible. So they did a second generation. I sold my first one after a while of trying to get it to work because I really loved it. I loved the way it looked, and I wanted it to work, but it just would not work for me. So I sold it. A few years later, picked up a second one used. I don't know if it was second generation or not. It had this exact same issues, and I sold it. Didn't get much for it. Got as much for the tritium sights that I put on it as I did for the gun itself. A few years after that, saw this one, and I knew by then that this was the second generation because the second generation, they put the logo up here by the ejector port. And I got it, held my breath, it worked. It worked perfectly, it worked flawlessly. Everything I did with it, it was great. And I was so happy because I so wanted this to work. I put tritium sights on it. I appreciate that, these are easy enough to do. I'm no kind of gunsmith, but this is easy enough for me to put on. I appreciate that. The sights were good to begin with. They're nice and big. The grip panels it came with were kind of flat black ones, and they were handsome enough, but I got these really great rosewood ones with a little bit of a palm swell. It feels so good in the hand to me, and it points really well, and that's kind of a subjective consideration, but you point all guns, but some of them just seem to point more naturally than others. It's got the mag release right here where you want it, and it's ambidextrous, and it doesn't stick out enough that it's going to trip off by mistake. It's got a grip safety, which I like. It's the only safety it's got. I've never had trouble with grip safeties. I think they're kind of cool because anything I can do more clicking with, I'm always in favor of. I guess that's one more mechanical thing that could go wrong, but in my experience, when something goes wrong with a pistol, it ain't the grip safety. This also has a hammer, not a striker. You can't see it, but it's in there. It's just like designed in a lot of ways like an old pocket pistol. It was kind of copied after the Remington Model 51, which is an early 20th century automatic pistol that didn't look a lot like this, but it kind of gave the 1911 a run for its money. And the military liked it, and they wanted to have one made in 45, but it fell through for one reason or another. I think they were very expensive to manufacture. Often, when there's a new firearm design, a new pistol design, the aftermarket is not supporting it. The people who make the grips and the holsters and the sights, and they don't want to invest in making those things for a gun that people aren't going to buy. But at the same time, a lot of people aren't going to buy a new gun if they can't get holsters and sights and grips for it. So it's kind of a chasing your own tail kind of thing. But since Remington is a major manufacturer, there was, at least early on, a lot of support for this in the aftermarket. I took advantage of that, getting holsters and all this good stuff. When they first came out, 2013, big mess. They made a second generation that was supposed to deal with all those not working issues. Today, as far as I can tell, Remington has no pistols at all in its catalog, at least online. I do have a Remington R1, which is a 1911, a perfectly good 1911 that works flawlessly. I think that they have just decided they went bankrupt in 2019. And that kind of derailed any further plans for this design. And I think they probably just gave up on pistols altogether. They used to make revolvers, and they made some pocket pistols and early automatics and stuff, but they really were known for rifles, and that's what they decided to stick with. Oh, that's the other thing. You could tell the previous owner kind of went caveman on the slide release, and I understand that because that's its other drawback. It is almost impossible to take apart and put back together. Taking apart isn't so bad. Putting back together is almost impossible. This is not threaded for a suppressor. This is for gripping it because in order to take it apart, you got to pull this out and twist it the right way and do this and do that. And I decided this was my Goldilocks gun, that I was going to get a replacement for that. And I ordered one from Remington, a real replacement for it. Would not fit in there, could not make it happen. And I got very close to pounding it in like this person did. And I just stopped and I got rid of that one and put the old one back in. So that's the one it came with. It's maybe the only one that works with this gun. And I was thinking, maybe Remington only made one good R51 and this is it. I don't know. But let's go watch me be unhappy when it hangs up with some Tulas. We're back, Mr. R51, and we're at a slightly different, more heroic angle. And we're going to shoot some Tulas, because Tulas are also inexpensive, although they're a little harder to come by these days, aren't they? Because we no longer import stuff from Russia's arms industry, and these are made at Tula Arsenal in Russia. Doink. But I got a bunch still, and they always go bang when you want them to, in my experience. All right, we just added +1, so let's go for 8 more. Oh no! All those great things I was saying about it. Look at that. Oh, I wonder what happened. What a shame! It had such a great track record up till now. Nope. Oh, this could be the end, ladies and gentlemen. I was here to champion this pistol, tell you how great it is, and it is great. It has been. Maybe that's what I did wrong. I didn't pound it first. That was the first malfunction I've ever had with this pistol. Well, let's see if we can get the rest of them to go. Oh, this is such a shame. All right, I dropped one on the ground. Let's give you that one too. Wow, well, this completely changed the trajectory of my entire story today. I'm glad I didn't talk about it first. Let's give it the last one. Let's give you a nice close-up of it. Okay, kind of disappointing. Okay, this is unprecedented in the annals of my YouTube channel, but I want to give this one more try using more of the Blazer ammo, since I suspect that the problem was with that Tula ammo, which is not, as fond as I am of it, the finest ammo that there is. It's got steel cases as opposed to brass cases, and this probably just likes the brass cases better. And I want to give it one more chance to do 7 for us and see if we don't replicate that problem. Yeah, it's the ammo. I'm going to blame the ammo. I really like this gun, and I really want it to do well, and I want to trust it. Let's look at that real quick. Yeah, see, there's just nothing to complain about. As long as it runs, I mean, it's a very accurate gun. And I'm no sharpshooter, but I can do okay. But the sights on this are really good, and it feels really good in the hand. And, let's look real quick at the original target that I shot the first 8 or 16. Look at that. That's pretty. I mean, not a huge distance, but that's where I was aiming it. Right? I mean, it's a great gun. I do love it, and I want it so badly to work, which is why I give it a second chance. And I think with the right ammo, I think there's nothing wrong with this at all.